Hey, buddy lawyers, welcome to the podcast. Today we are going to have a chat with Ms. Vrinda Sharma Rosenberg. She is a yoga instructor and also a freelance legal consultant. Welcome to the show, Vrinda.
Thanks, Prasanna. Thank you so much for having me. I think it's wonderful that you've put this platform where lawyers or ex-lawyers like me can come and talk about their stories. A lot of people were asking me about how did I make the switch? Why did I make the switch? And it's wonderful that you had me on this show or on this podcast because those questions can now be answered. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's the purpose, so that you can answer it once and for all and just send this link to everyone who asked the same questions again. And I'm sure,
Absolutely.
like many people would be asking because such questions are there in many people's minds, like to switch or not to switch. Should I choose another, like even within law, to choose another field like practicing from civil to criminal or something else, even that makes lawyers think a lot, and they take the decision like a lot after like a lot of thinking. So I think you are a like person who will be answering those questions in great detail, I guess, because you have switched from legal field to completely field in health and well-being. So to put it that way. But see, after having a full-time corporate life, uh, it's more difficult because of the luxuries and things what I'm talking about, it well. So not only in like point of view of health, but also from a career point of view, what led to this change? How would you answer that?
Yeah, that's actually a great question that I get asked very often. So I studied law for 5 years and then I worked as a lawyer for 5 years. So almost 10 years I spent studying and then working as a lawyer. But I think it's only when I started working as a lawyer did I start practicing yoga. I think I was not very mindfully working, if you know what I mean. Like, we're just like exhausted beyond the point of repair and we still keep continuing to live that lifestyle. I'm sure many of us can relate, just waiting for that weekend or waiting for that holiday, but other than that we just mindlessly keep working. So I decided somewhere during the lockdown actually, because things got a little out of control, at least for me personally, because there were no borders, there was no work life balance. People were just reaching out to me day and night. I was just sitting in front of the computer and I said, I need to take some time out for myself, if my organization or if I am not able to make that divide, during work hours, then I need to do something outside of work hours to take care of myself. And that's when I started practicing yoga every morning. So come what may, whether it's raining, it's cold outside, I would just wake up in the morning, I would practice yoga, and then I would continue with my day. Even if it meant working late hours, at least in the morning, I would practice yoga. So it started only as something I did to take care of myself, for myself. But only during the lockdown, I actually took a sabbatical and I traveled for 3 months. So I went to Latin America, I went to Europe, I was in the US, and I took this time to just reflect. I said, before I go back and get another job where, in less than a year, I'm again tired and start looking for yet another job, let me just think and see what is it that I really want to do. And I think that really put a lot of perspective for me, just taking that break. And I admit that not every day I spent consciously, deciding what do I want to do. There were some days when I was just living in the moment, having a good time traveling, but I did spend a large part of that trip just deciding what is it that brings me true joy and what is it that I can sustain. Because even though I was good at being a lawyer, I did my job pretty well. It was not something that was bringing me happiness. So I thought to myself, let me just come back to India and I'll do my 1 month TTC, which is your teacher training course to become a yoga instructor. If I love it, I will become a teacher. And if I don't love it, I would have learned something new. It's a new skill I would have acquired. Anyway, I was practicing yoga every day. So I would only know how to do the asanas better, how to do the pranayams better. So let's just do it anyway. But since the time I stepped foot in the Yoga Institute, that's where I did my teacher training course from. I decided this is what I want to do. This is the life I want to live. It's not about what I want to do, it's about how I want to live. So, of course, yoga is not just what you practice on the mat, right? It's how you train your mind, it's how you mindfully live your life every day, it's what you eat, it's how you speak to people, it's everything. So, of course, it's not a sudden transformation. I still have a little bit of, that anxiety from my corporate job, and it just keeps coming up time and again. Even when I'm just relaxing, I am still inside, like worried about something. You just want something to worry about. So I'm trying to work on that. But definitely following the yogic principles has done wonders for me, and that's how I made the switch.
Cool. So as you said, it's not only about working out on your mat, which most of the people have this misconception about us. So I put it this way. I don't know how correct like the terms of vocabulary I'm using, but the whatever people know and whatever like we have seen about yoga is just doing asanas on yoga mat or on the like on in gardens or somewhere open space. But those are just asanas which are a very like quite a small part of yoga, and a significant chunk is a lot of theoretical, as you were saying about understanding your mind, your breath, etc. So can you delve more into this part?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think it's become a very recent trend that a lot of people are coming up on social media and, hey, like I can do a headstand. This is a photo of me doing a headstand, or hey, I can do a split. So which is fine, which is absolutely fine. But the whole purpose of yoga, whether you're practicing your asana, whether you're practicing your dhyan, whether you're doing pranayam, it's always to connect to your mind. So when you're practicing the asana, you're using your physical body as a tool to connect to your mind. It's not a workout like any other form of exercise, right? Yes, you may gain flexibility. Yes, you may lose weight. All those benefits are likely to follow. But the main purpose, the main goal of yoga is always to connect to your mind. Like we say, chitta vritti nirodhay, which means to control the fluctuations of your mind, to be as still as you can, to be as calm as you can, to reach that state of samadhi, moksha, as we've heard. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, roughly. Also, like while performing asanas, also you need to follow certain breathing patterns for that particular asana. And as you said, like the nothingness, you have to try to reach there through your mind, like following these things. So, in a nutshell, this is a quite good answer. Um, so this is also related to, like, not related to. This is part of what we call spirituality. So how are you, like, what is your relation to spirituality? How do you practice it? What habits have you inculcated? What would you suggest anyone who wants to just start understanding these things, about understanding your own self basically?
Correct. So you kind of gave away the answer in that question, which is great. You asked what spirituality means to me. And, there's again this perception that you need to be like a yogi sitting in the mountains, meditating for like days to be able to become spiritual. But that's not true. As long as you have prana inside you, as long as you have life inside you, you are a spiritual being. So yoga just helps you become more self-aware of that spirituality which is within you already. It helps you to stay connected with yourself. Like they say that you only live once, but if you live once and you do it right, that's enough. So that's what yoga helps you to do, just choosing to spend each moment of your life being self-aware instead of focusing on many petty things like how you can make more money, who's doing better than you, how you can compete, jealousy, envy, all of that. So instead of just being connected with yourself. And also spirituality means believing that there is a higher power. Now whether you call it nature, whether you call it universe, whether you call it God, you can give it whatever name you want to give it, but just knowing that there's something that is bigger than you and you're not alone. You're a part of that divinity, you're a part of that bigger picture. We all beings are connected to that divine power. That is what is spirituality to me.
Yeah, you can also call it my lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. So while you were transitioning to this path, like in your transitioning your career, what challenges did you face?
Right. So a lot of the challenges that I faced were not external, they were internal. So I had the support of my parents. Not a lot of people can make that choice that, acha, aaj mujhe lawyer nahi banna hai, mujhe yoga karna hai. Not many people can make that choice. And I'm very grateful and I'm aware that I was fortunate enough to be able to make that choice. for whatever reasons, whether it's financial constraints, not having the support of your family, you know, a lot of people are not able to make that decision. So a lot of the challenges that I faced were not external. I just want to clarify this. I had the support of my family, I had the support of my husband. You know, luckily, coming from a good place where money was not a problem to be able to take that break. But internally, I faced so many challenges, you know, so many like internal conflicts, like constantly telling myself, log kya sochenge? You know, like what will my other lawyer friends think? And will I be able to do well? If I become a yoga teacher and I don't succeed, will I ever be able to come back to being a lawyer again? Will anybody even give me a job? You know, so those kind of internal conflicts are something I was constantly, it was like a constant battle for me for like at least a year. I think it was 1 year ago that I decided to do my TTC, and then I finally did it this April after saying that, you know what, it's not such a big deal, Vrinda, just do it. It's an investment in yourself, and just go for it. So yeah, those were the challenges I faced.
So how did you reply to those people? Like, I'm sure many people who would have, upfrontly like said, told you like you are making a wrong choice, your decision, you will regret this decision, etc. Did this
You
happen,
know,
and how did you answer?
no, Prasanna, surprisingly, it didn't happen at all. Nobody questioned me twice. You know, they were just like, because actually what happened was as soon as I decided to do it, and touch wood, like results started to show immediately, you know, not that money is important, but it is also important. So even though I'm a yoga teacher, I am looking to sustain in this market, in this world, in this life. So I'm already making much more than my last round's salary as a lawyer. So, you know, I think for a lot of people, that brings, I don't want to say a slap on their face, but that is kind of like an answer to their question, especially the people who doubt you. And they think that isme paisa nahi hai, aisa nahi hai, whatever you're good at, follow it with all your passion, money is likely to follow you. So I never did it with the intention of just chasing money, but that came along and I'm very grateful for that. Uh, लोगों के बस यही सवाल होते हैं that if you do this, how will you make money? Other than that, people didn't really have any other questions. I think people really recognize the importance of yoga in today's day and age. So I do get a lot of respect for people for doing this, whereas I thought that people will, you know, look down upon me like इससे law नहीं हो पाया तो ये yoga कर रही है, you know. It's not like that. I think people recognize the value of my work, and I really haven't gotten any doubts or questions from anyone.
This is a good, like people are more concerned only about कितना कमा रहे हैं. हाँ, पैसे कमा रहे हैं तो ठीक है. नहीं कमा रहे,
Exactly,
then
exactly.
there's some problem.
Correct, correct.
Crazy. Okay, so please tell us something about your work. Like, on what projects are you currently working? How is your daily routine and things?
Right. So my everyday, I start my morning at 6 and I end my day at 10:30, which is not the case when I was a lawyer. You work from 9 to maybe 7 and then you're done. But when you start working for yourself and you're freelancing, you're constantly working. Even weekends are not something I am mentally able to take off from, which I want to start doing. But when you're very passionate about your own work, I guess you're just working around the clock. So my mornings start with yoga classes, whether it's online, offline, personal group sessions. I start my day with morning classes. I end my day with classes as well because I have clients in the US. So I'm helping them train as well online. Other than the classes, I also take corporate sessions. A lot of organizations are coming forward and they want to take care of their employees. They want to incorporate yoga and meditation in their daily lives. So I also take corporate sessions. And a very interesting thing that I'm working on right now is with Hindustan Times. We've come up with a few short episodes on yoga. So yoga for back pain, easy yoga poses that beginners can try, you know, yoga for people with diabetes, just very informative short episodes with Hindustan Times. That's an interesting project that I'm working on. And I keep thinking, you know, what are the new avenues I can tap into? I'm also hoping to start my own yoga retreat someday, you know, where I can take people closer to nature and give them the experience of practicing yoga in the middle of a forest or at a beach. So that's something I'm exploring too.
So is this a offline event with the Hindustan Times or something like a series, a video series or something like that?
Yeah, it's like a YouTube series. You can go on their channel and you'll be able to see my, it's about 5 to 7 minute clips on yoga. So we shoot every Saturday almost and we release the episodes every week.
Okay. So how is it called? Like asanas with Vrinda, or what's the
It's
title?
called, so it's the branding given by Hindustan Times. It's called Yoga for the Soul.
Oh, okay. The hero of the soul. Okay. Yeah. One thing which came to my mind when I was, thinking about this podcast is after attending your yoga workshops, like, has any lawyer or any guy like from the corporate sector shared their experience as to how it transformed them and thus it's also helping them in their career?
Yeah, so a lot of people were inspired, but at the same time, they were hesitant. So I got a lot of emails saying that, hey, your story is really inspiring, but we don't know how to do it, but I don't think I can do it. In fact, so many lawyers wrote to me saying that they want to become yogis as well. So it was so specific, my story related to many lawyers who are looking to become yoga instructors. So I was able to guide them, tell them how to go about it. But I completely understand they're taking a little bit of time to finally take that step because it is definitely a big decision to take. It's not as easy as it was for me. Many people tend to overthink it and may not want to change their jobs. It's not for everyone to just throw away what they've built for so long. So I did get a lot of emails. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, this is also very much relatable to me because I switched from law to media. If you can say that I'm into podcasts and video editing and YouTube and stuff now. Uh,
Hmm.
but it was quite easy for me because whenever like I was trying to switch from law, I also did a teacher training course in yoga from Bangalore.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know that. That's
yeah.
amazing.
From Vyasa, if you have heard, Swami
Okay.
Vivekananda Yoga. Listen.
Right.
So I was also thinking of switching there, but after like few things happened, I came into this thing media. So it was quite difficult for me to willingly take this decision. But if I keep on dragging that job, like I kept on dragging that job in that job, and my health started deteriorating. Okay, and then I had no choice. So once I left the job, my health was fine.
Right,
So
right.
this is for those who don't know, there are something called psychosomatic ailments. So if your mental health is not fine, it affects your body in a way that was what I was going through. Uh, so
So was
that's
it your
just
yoga teacher training program that gave you that idea to finally quit your job? Did you get that realization after the program?
yeah, kind of. No, that was when I did that course in my third year of law. But I was
Ah.
practicing. I go through Isha Yoga Center sometimes, like once a year or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, these things helped me to connect and understand what's the problem exactly, because I went to multiple doctors, like 10, 15,000 I spent in multiple tests, and every test was like normal, and doctors are confused, like what is happening to you, that your tests are normal. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
But why is it happening? So
yeah.
people were not able to diagnose it properly, and
Right,
now it has happened to me like twice or thrice. So I understand when my health starts degrading, I understand there's something not related to exactly my health, but something related to my mind. So
right.
cool. That's it about me. Let's move on to the questions. Yeah, I think we have covered most of the things. What are your future plans like? Are you going for an advanced level course, because there are many like masters courses if you go into that university pattern of things? Otherwise, there are many institutes throughout India, and trust me guys, if you want to start, you can start with any institute, and the fees are like as low as nil and as high as you can imagine, whatever. So you
Yeah,
can start anywhere. It's not necessary that you have to go to a specific institute. But tell me, Vrinda, what are your plans?
yeah. So I did my 200-hour PTC from the Yoga Institute Mumbai. It's the oldest and the most renowned institute in the world, and just happens to be at a stone's throw distance from my house. So I said, why not? I should grab this opportunity. It was definitely very insightful. I learned a few things. Few things I feel like I already knew because I'd been practicing yoga for a while. But nonetheless, the experience was amazing, and I'm very, very grateful for all my teachers there. I do think that at this point, I would not want to pursue my advanced training for the simple reason that once you've learned something, it's important to get some practical knowledge for it. And I'm sure even lawyers can relate to this, right? Like when you were in law school and then when you actually went for internships, what you learned at the internships was so different, right? So it's important to actually get that practical knowledge as well on things. So I do want to do my teacher training more for my own fulfillment. The advanced teacher training, I feel like you get to learn so much from a yoga philosophy, yoga diet, yoga meditation, all of that point of view. So I want to do it for my own growth because in my asana classes, there's only so much of that I can incorporate because let's be honest, people come to a yoga class to exercise. That's still the mindset. So I still want to do it for my own personal growth. I will do it eventually, maybe early next year. But as of now, I'm looking to just sort of get better at what I'm already doing. So that is my goal for the next few months, to just get better at what I'm already doing.
Nice. Okay, over to our last question. Please share an incident from your career which is very memorable to you. So this can be from possibly if you can share something from your legal career, like when you were a lawyer, working as a lawyer, or when you were in law school also, that is also fine. Or else if you don't, if you are not able to recollect something from that, you can share something after you started yoga.
Yeah, I think from my legal career, from what I can remember at the top of my head is definitely when I met my boss and my team for the first time after almost 1.5 years. So in my last job, because I joined during the lockdown, for 1.5 years, I was just sitting behind a laptop. I could not put a face to my own boss or like to my own peers, And then finally, once things started to open up, we decided that, office is not open yet, but let's just come and meet each other because we were lacking that peer-to-peer connection, So we all kind of just met and we worked from office. I think that's my best memory. And unfortunately, just a few months after that, I decided to become a yoga teacher, but just meeting my peers in person after all those years of not seeing each other was definitely something I'll always remember, And there are many other memories. I'll always have sweet memories from being a lawyer. I don't mean to demonize my bosses or my career. It was great as long as it lasted. So a lot of it was amazing, I'd say. But this one I remember specifically, just seeing my boss, seeing my colleagues, after never seeing them before.
And if you want to share, you can also share it from your yoga career as well. Like, I'm sure there is something.
Yeah, so the one that I think I'll always remember, I mean, it's been only a few months, I'm sure there'll be more memories to create, but I went for my first ever corporate session as a yoga instructor and, just entering an office I was probably wearing the same Om t-shirt and I walked in bare feet, because just being a typical yogi, and I just suddenly got a flashback. I've always only entered an office in a blazer, wearing very uncomfortable heels, carrying an expensive purse, walking with a laptop in my hand, already taking calls. And, from that to just walking bare feet, relaxing, walking at your own pace, taking slow steps was just like such a transformation. That flashback came before my eyes and it truly felt amazing.
I think you must take a picture of yours like before and after.
I know, I thought about that. Unfortunately, I don't have any photos of me from like an office when I was a lawyer. I did think about that.
Okay. Nice. Wonderful. Okay, Vrinda, thanks so much for this amazing conversation and sharing your experience with us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad we could finally make this happen.
Yeah, gratefully. We did after canceling multiple times, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you like this episode, then do check out our other episodes available here on YouTube, on Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. We are available there too. And subscribe to our channel, hit that bell icon. Bye bye. Thanks a lot.